A very good evening to you all. Trust your day has been good. Welcome to the English News Bulletin. Let's begin with the headlines. On Saturday, residents in the area where Pierre Basabose and Serafin Twahirwa committed genocide and war crimes were briefed on how the trial that took place in Belgium was conducted. The Ministry of Youth and Arts has announced plans to engage in discussions with artists to enhance the development of the sector. I am Olive Nete, and as we approach the festive season, we extend our heartfelt wishes for a joyous and peaceful holiday to all our viewers. Now let's move on with the news in details. On Saturday, residents in the area where Pierre Basabose and Serafin Twahirwa committed genocide and war crimes were briefed on how the trial that took place in Belgium was conducted. Residents appreciate how justice was served. Prince Manzi has our top story.
The parish church of Seven Saparoti in Gikondo, Kigali City, is one of the regions that accounted many Tutsi massacred, as numbers are up to 500 currently. There is also a memorial of the genocide against the Tutsi at this church. Dieudonné Rutayisire lost relatives at this church.
Hari abasederi benshi, hari kwa Serafin utuye ku Karambo, perezida w'interahamwe n'ubugome bwinshi cyane.
There were a lot of the CDR members. Serafin lived nearby, who was a leader of the Interahamwe militia and was a monster. Basabose lived in Bizimungu's house nearby. Some grenades were thrown in the church, but people in the chapel were burned, and the Interahamwe made sure the remains were ash. Even at the burial, we buried ashes. Serafin Twahirwa and Pierre Basabose were convicted of genocide and war crimes and sentenced to life in prison and psychiatric internment, respectively. On Saturday, those affected by these crimes were taken through how the trial of Serafin Twahirwa and Pierre Basabose was conducted. This was done through Justice et Mémoire program in partnership with the RCN Justice et Démocratie and the Pax Press. For justice has been served after 30 years, it was commended by participants, adding that it demonstrates that the genocide crimes do not have statutes of limitations.
Ahangaha hicwa abavyeyi banje, hicirwa abavandimwe, abavyara banje, baonkre banje, bose imibiri yabo ibitswe muri urwibutso.
My parents were killed here, my siblings and relatives. For the trial conducted fairly and for Serafin, convicted of the genocide crimes, it is joy for Gikondo residents because, like Serafin, led in Interahamwe attacks.
The president of Ibuka, an umbrella association of survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi, Dr. Philbert Gakwenzire, states that serving justice goes hand in hand with not delaying justice, as there are still perpetrators living freely abroad.
Imanza za mbere zaciwe mu mwaka wa 2001.
The first trials were in 2001. 7 years is allowed for starting trials. Another trial was in 2005, 4 years. Another trial in 2009, and another in 2019. That is a long period for holding trials. There should be a way of mechanizing how these trials are to be conducted. It is a lesson to be learned by these countries and ask themselves, isn't it a problem for living with these people for all these years? And work on how to focus on taking to trials those on the lists. Ibuka reiterates that the trials of the genocide perpetrators should not be seen only in the eyes of the survivors, but also the world is to take a step in trying perpetrators still living freely. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince, for the details. Now to other matters. The Ministry of Youth and Arts has announced plans to engage in discussions with artists to enhance the development of the sector. Concurrently, artists emphasize the necessity for establishing a framework within the sector to generate employment opportunities that contribute to the development of the country. Prince Mansi with more.
Rumaga is a poet, author, and songwriter. This young artist has already 25 poems that have audio and videos. He states that for his project to be released, at least 30 people play part in it.
umuhanzi atunga umufata amashusho, umufata amajwi, iyo yakoze igitaramo atunga ukata amatike, atunga aho yakoreye.
An artist pays the audio and visual technicians. At the concert, he pays the tickets providers. He pays the hall. It is really a big circle of people that he pays.
Umuntu washinze station ya essence kuko atunze n'umukozi umukorera.
Artists tackle on the need for creation of a framework for an artist to rely on his talent. For the ministry, the first thing to tackle on is the copyright, because we always say this, and they have to reach out to us and hear opinions, as some of us have experience.
They have to understand that a person who studied marketing can concentrate on an art. There is a misbelief of taking artistry as a joke.
In December 2023, the Ministry of Youth was given to be responsible for the arts portfolio that was previously under the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, hence the rename to the Ministry of Youth and Arts. The Ministry of Youth and Arts demonstrated the following step is to have discussions with artists to effectively address challenges in this sector. The government of Rwanda invested heavily in the arts sector in terms of infrastructures and amending laws in favor of talent development. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. Now, still speaking about enhancing the development of the sector, RBS John Patrick Kwizera sat down with the Minister of Youth and Arts to ask him more about his ministry is going to help young people in the countries to develop while promoting arts at the same time. Take a look.
We have our 3 core mandates. The first one is to promote youth development, youth economic empowerment. So we try to identify all the possible opportunities for the young people to develop economically. So using all the means available, whether from the government, from the non-state actors, from the private sector, all the corners of opportunities where we can reach. The mandate, the core mandate of our ministry is how the young people can get economically developed. The second one is self-entertainment of the young people. Young people are not necessarily in jobs, in employment. There are those with 16, 17, 18 who are still in secondary schools. When they go to vacations or in their free time, we need to entertain them. But we need another way of entertaining them, like self-entertainment. Without abuse of alcohol, without using drugs, with good music, with good vibes, to be cool but without drugs and alcohol. Thirdly, we want to work together with the young people themselves on how to promote good values without indulging in using excessive anti-values. So we need to fight them together. Recently, we have been blessed to receive a new docket of development of arts, promotion of arts. It's like it is already the job of the young people. Most of the young people are in arts, in all different types of arts, like painting, film, music, performance. So young people are already there. So it's just placing the hammer on the nail. So it's just that kind of arrangement that happened, and so we are happy, and I think the young people also, the artists, are very happy. So we believe one of the areas that create a lot of jobs is the creative economy, creative industry. From production, a lot of jobs are created. In the distribution of those products, a lot of jobs are created. And even when we are consuming the arts, jobs are created. Let's take, for example, the new song of the band. This song, when you are listening to it, when you are browsing on YouTube, you are creating some income and to the band and his team. When you are attending a concert of one of our artists, you are creating some jobs. So for me, I think it's one of the areas we are happy to host in the ministry. We are going to organize the meetings with the artists themselves to shape the directions and the vision that we share with them. We will host the oldest, the younger, the upcoming, we will never leave any artist behind. So everyone will have a stake at this ministry, and also to shape the shared vision of this arts development. So we will work together with the private sector, the non-state actors, everyone, to make sure this creative industry is developed. So I can assure the young people, the artists themselves, that we will have a space here for the artists in the ministry. And we will make sure the history of our legends in the arts industry will also be preserved in this ministry. What in other countries they call it the Hall of Fame, we will try to do that. The education, the upskilling of the artists, and also, of course, the access to finance. We will work with different entities, the government itself, the private sector, the banks, whoever that will be available to support the artists. We will be there to support the artists.
And now to other matters. Cabo Delgado residents in Mozambique assert that the terrorist attacks in the region since 2017 have profoundly hindered their development. They add that no one can find explanations on the reasons behind these attacks. Prince Manzi has more.
In the midday, for people being in their daily works marks as a sign that life is coming back to normal, which was different 2 years back. These terror attacks badly affected Cabo Delgado. Luckily, we survived, but like for me, my house was destroyed. I lost relatives, properties were distracted, families separated to the extent that there are some who have not yet met with their families. As you see here, we were highly affected by terrorists that attacked us in Kionga. Upon arrival, they burnt our houses. We did nothing to them. We have not insulted them. We just found ourselves being attacked by them. I can say that it is just hostility. The army commander of the Mozambique Armed Defense Forces, Major General Alberto Tiago Nampele, reiterated those that link the terror attacks with the beliefs or rich natural resources of Cabo Delgado are wrong. It is hard to know what led terrorists to start the war. It is not worth because we are not the only country with rich natural resources, because there are countries with rich natural resources and they are not in war. We look at Tanzania. They have gas, but they are not in war. It requires a research to understand the reason behind this. At first, they came saying that they do not need wealth, leadership, just a region to enhance their religion. I can also say that this is also not true, as the region attacked was commonly based by the same believers. They burnt a lot of mosques in Masimboa. Cabo Delgado residents are always grateful to the Rwanda security organs that disarmed the terrorists, and they now live in harmony.
Thank you, Prince, for the details. Now, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda has announced the results of its 25th examinations for certified public accountants and certified accounting technicians. The exams took place between November 27th and December 1st, 2023 at various examination centers. A record-breaking 2009 candidates registered for the exam, with 1,637 being CPAs and 372 CATs, showing a significant increase from the August 2023 sitting. The pass rates for November 2023 are 56% for CAT and 48% for CPA, similar to the previous sitting. In this session, 66 students, 43 CPAs and 23 CATs, have completed the CPA and CAT qualifications, bringing the cumulative total to 433 and 300 qualifiers since June 2014. The Institute congratulates all successful candidates and encourages those who didn't pass to persevere, and the message is that the failure is not the end, but an opportunity to succeed in the future. ICPAR expresses gratitude to the government of Rwanda for supporting students and acknowledges the role of higher learning institutions in producing qualified candidates.
The biggest reason why we've had such a big uptake is because of those students from higher learning institutions. We are glad that at least higher learning institutions have recognized the importance of professional accountancy qualifications, and they're actively encouraging their students to be able to take up those exams, and henceforth when they graduate from those universities they can also qualify as professionals within their own right.
Thank you for being part of our news today, and enjoy the holiday seasons.